Hello again, beautiful beings, and welcome back to another Q&A. Of course, if you are new to my channel, then I just want to let you know that only the members get to ask me questions every week for the Q&A, and only the members get to participate in the live chat. So a special welcome and thank you to all of my YouTube members. I hope you're enjoying all of that exclusive content. Just a reminder to my new members that you can find 40 plus hours of content in the members only playlist at the bottom of the YouTube page. And then of course, members only content in the community section of YouTube as well, just to kind of let all of you know. Of course, happy Mother's Day to everyone watching, members, non-members, subscribers, non-subscribers. Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Especially all of the mothers who are stuck in quarantine with their beautiful starseed children. I'm sure you are developing a brand new connection together, especially during this time. Okay, so before we deep dive into ear ringing and awakening and life after death and literally so many questions today, I'm going to spend an hour today to get to all of the questions. I will probably have this video up for maybe 24 hours, and then I'm going to make it members only, okay? So just kind of keep that in mind. If you feel like this content can help, feel free to share it and subscribe, of course. But yeah, it'll be gone in about 24 hours. Okay, before I begin, I feel like a mother because I have to communicate something. And honestly, I don't typically communicate my emotions often because typically I'm a pretty bubbly, happy, high vibe person. But I just want to say that I am extremely disappointed at what went on Friday for the video with Unical. And for those of you who haven't watched the video, that's okay. But there are some of you out there that, you know who you are, obviously, and I'll kind of just relay it. I have to get this off my chest. So on Friday, I released a video, and it's a video, and the title was very triggering. It was a very polarizing title, and the title is, and it's still up there if you guys want to watch it, it's called Interview with a New Age Cult Leader, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but I have been morbidly curious about cults and, weird addictions that people have. Like, I love psychology. And I was so shocked and disappointed to see the amount of hate, and I don't use that word often, if ever, but really that's what it was. The amount of judgment and hate that came in the comments of that video before the video even played. It was premiering at 2:30, and I woke up in the morning of that day on Friday, and there were so many people who said, Elizabeth, I can't believe that you even gave this cult leader a platform, unsubscribed. Wow, I can't believe that you're, into cults, unsubscribed. These are people who have been subscribed for years, not weeks, not days, years. And they were so quick to judge. They didn't even watch the interview, and they unsubscribed, right? I mean, the interview, when you watch it, it's super high vibrational. And this girl, I asked her, I said, why do you use such a triggering term like a cult? And she explains, I play with polarity because I want to rattle people's world, and I want to transmute the negative vibrations in the word itself. I've put out videos saying Trump is a light worker. I even have a video out there from a year ago saying I'm a cult leader. I play within polarity because in order to be a master, you rise above the verbiage of this reality. I was shocked, guys, shocked. And I'm not talking to my members here, I'm talking to everyone else, and you know who you are, who were so quick to judge this video and this girl, this poor girl who is playing with polarity. She probably gets this kind of hate all the time. And honestly, guys, I think the most disappointing part of it was she reached out to me yesterday and she told me that she was on MTV talking about what she does, and she got more hate from my channel than she did from MTV. Does that mean that I have more low vibrational people on my channel than MTV? Right? What does that really, what does that say about me? Here I am feeling really good about providing her a safe space to communicate why she calls herself a cult leader, why she uses very triggering terminology. And apparently, it was very triggering for a lot of people. So I just wanted to communicate my disappointment for this past Friday. And if you haven't seen the interview, please watch the interview and read the comments, because I think this is a perfect example. Of course, I haven't deleted any of the negative comments or bad vibes, but this is a perfect example of working with triggers, right? Working with polarity. And honestly, I hope that the people who judged this girl and judged the interview before they even watched it, I hope they watched it and they changed their perspective of it. I really hope they watched it and said, wow, why was I so triggered? Why was I so quick to judge? What is inside me that needed to project so much judgment, right? I really hope that people watched it and turned that perspective around. And if you haven't watched it, please do. It's a great interview. It's incredible. This girl is so high vibes, Anyway, so I just want to put that out there and communicate my disappointment. The craziest thing is I put a video out on Monday talking about reptilian shapeshifters, and I got more love than I ever have on any video. And then I put a video out on a cult leader, and she's using that terminology for a reason. And it was just so much hate before they even watched it. It was just mind-boggling. Okay, one more thing about that, and then we'll dive into all the questions and answers. I actually kind of give people a bit of a break. And the reason why I give people a break to be so judgmental is because it was, full moon in Scorpio. I was triggered all of Thursday and all of Friday of this past week, right? And I purposefully put out a really triggering video during a very triggering super full moon in 2020. And I don't want to say that's my bad. I just want to say that was all for a reason, to purge out whatever kind of polarity or limiting beliefs that you still have, right? So anyway, I just want to put that all out there and say, look, there's a reason for everything, and I do give you guys a break because I was triggered too, and maybe if I saw something that went against my beliefs or, whatever. Anyway, don't hate on the messenger though. I can't believe people unsubscribed for me just opening up to another point of view, right? Just open your mind and make your own conclusions, right? It's just wild. Anyway. That's it. It's off my chest. I feel a lot better about that. I just wanted to kind of confront that because I was feeling really kind of disturbed and disappointed at my people for the energy coming through that. Okay, good. All right. Whoosh. Burn some sage. All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. I'm very excited. Once again, all of these questions are from my members. Members, you have so many great questions. I'm going to get through as many as possible, and then I'm going to roll the other questions over to next week. So the first question here is from Sabrina. And the question is about, where do souls go after we die, right? What happens? What happens to our karmic lessons? Do our souls find a new body? What's the reincarnation like? Okay, so I've worked a lot with crossing over souls. I've worked a lot with the afterlife. I've worked a lot with a lot of that kind of stuff. Ever since I was a kid, I could see ghosts and spirits. So this is kind of my understanding of what happens after death. Okay, so basically you have a choice. After you die, after the body dies in this reality, you have a choice. Your soul has a choice. The choice is one of two things. It's not heaven or hell, trust me. One half of it is you either get stuck in a way, and I do call it purgatory. I know it's a very biblical term, but also I don't really have another term for where you get stuck. You kind of get stuck as a soul in this weird liminal realm, and I call it the fourth dimension, okay? You kind of get stuck in the fourth dimension. And that is where you become a ghost or a spirit walking around in this. It's almost like when you're in the fourth dimension, you're still stuck within this realm and reality, but you can't interact with the realm or reality physically. You're not physical, right? And so you only really ever get stuck as a soul if you have attachments, if you pass away very suddenly, and it's very traumatic, and if you have a lot of emotion that you're unable to let go of. Typically, that's when you get stuck as a ghost or a spirit. I would say maybe 50-50. I think it's getting a lot better because the vibration of the planet is a lot higher, so people are getting less and less stuck. The other half, most of the people, most of the beings, when they cross over, when they get out of their body, they basically go to the light. And I know you've heard probably a lot of conspiracy theorists or other channelers say, the afterlife is a trap. It's not. Okay, it's not. Yes, there are traps in the astral realm, absolutely. But the afterlife is not a trap. Literally, when you pass away and you get out of your body and you're ready to move on, you go down a tunnel, and and all your loved ones are there, all your family members, all the near-death experiences that you've maybe read in the past are almost exactly what happens. Go down this tunnel, all your family members are there. At the end of the tunnel is a white light, and that's pure source. That is, you go back to pure source consciousness, and that basically sits in the middle of the universe. When you're sitting in that space, you have the option to pop back into this reality. You can come through as a bird or a butterfly or an ant or a fly or, even a bunny rabbit or whatever, if you want to bring your loved one's messages. Or you can you have to review all of the decisions that you made in your lifetime before you decide to reincarnate, okay? People assume that reincarnation takes place right away. Oh, my grandmother died 2 weeks ago. Where is she now? Oh, she's in the afterlife. Typically, on average, it takes years and years, if not generations, for a soul to reincarnate. And one thing that's also misconceived is that you just kind of chill up there. That's it. You're just kind of hanging out. But really, you're learning lessons just as much in the astral realm as you are in this reality. No matter where your soul is, it's always growing and being challenged and looking at things in a different way and expanding. Okay, that's the whole purpose of existence, is the expansion. And thank you so much, Rob, for that beautiful super chat. Okay, cool. Let's move on to Olori. Cool name. What about sex? This is a good question. I don't really talk about sexuality enough. I feel that desire is a 3D vibration, but during this lockdown, many of us crave for connection with others, and sex is also a part of it. Can you explain or expand anything on that? Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about sex. Overall, okay, sex is a tough one, okay, because, I know in quarantine, a lot of people are lonely and kind of craving that connection and that connection with others. And there's not much I can talk to about that other than that's something that you're going to have to overcome. Just like people who are craving their normal 9-to-5 structure, right? You just kind of have to deal with it in a sense. But I do want to talk about sex in a very high vibrational way. There are 2 elements to sex. And I want to tell everyone that, maybe I should have included this in the reptilian video, but there was so much to get to. Sex has been a mechanism since the dawning of humanity that has been deeply manipulated within humanity to lower our vibration. I cannot stress this enough. The amount of manipulation, abuse, rituals, Catholic guilt, oh my goodness, the shame that we've been all put through around sex. Okay? And of course, if you're a starseed and if you're an alien, then sex is weird to you, because I know as a gray, for me, I feel like I'm more asexual than anything, just because I'm like, what are these body parts? I don't know. It does not compute for me, right? It's just odd. So there's a lot that goes around sex. There's a lot that kind of goes into that. So one aspect is the majority of us, honestly, like 90% of us, have really deep sexual traumas. I don't care if you were abused or not in this lifetime, male, female, no matter what culture, race, age, gender you are, you have deep sexual traumas. I can almost guarantee it. And the reason why is because lifetime after lifetime, we have gone through sexual manipulation. And this is the number one thing that has happened in society. And I should do a whole video about this because it's so important. And the reason why this is the number one most manipulated aspect of being human, ooh, I'm getting chills, is because, are you ready for this? Sex, and more specifically orgasm, which really, sex is just sex, but orgasm is a place where you let go of all of your inhibitions, where you let go of all of your walls. You literally have to be at a place of full surrender in order to experience orgasm. But what orgasm is a very deeply spiritually connected, conscious, soul-raising vibrational connection to the universe. I cannot stress enough how significant orgasm is. If you are someone who has a hard time experiencing orgasm, then you have deeply buried sexual trauma that is not allowing you, whether it be guilt or shame or judgment, or just feeling like you're not fully connected to your human. You're not allowing yourself to get to that place. The reason why sex has been manipulated is because I believe that it is the number one thing that will allow us to live much longer. Like, this is weird, but I've done a lot of work in past lifetimes, especially in ancient Egypt, with Tantra, okay, Tantra meditation and Tantra sex, and anking your energy. And this is so cool. Once again, I should do a whole video on this. But when you connect yourself to pure source through orgasm with no inhibitions and no limitations, and you actually perpetuate that state of orgasm, which literally is you connect to source, you bring source energy in, and you perpetuate that source energy through your body, it regenerates your cells. It reverses aging. It allows you to be breatharian. You don't have to eat because you're literally feeding off of source. The reason why it's been so manipulated is because it is our greatest superpower. So if you're sitting at home saying, wow, I really haven't experienced what Elizabeth is talking about, it's time to dig deep. You deserve not only just a great sex life, not only just a great orgasm, but you deserve to connect to source in a way where you're not feeling guilty and you're not feeling shameful and you feel delighted and excited. And so when you're missing that contact with someone else at home, maybe the first thing is making that contact, in a sexual way, to yourself. And if you're not in full glory with that connection with yourself, then you're never going to be able to get to a point of full glory and full connection with someone else. And I'm going to leave it at that. Hopefully you guys, that resonates with you. All right, let's move on. Christy, how can I, as a major empath, shield myself from others' emotions to focus on balancing in myself and being aware of what's mine? Good question. Okay. So how can an empath basically not be so much of an empath? I want to explain a concept for you and all of those empaths watching right now. And I just posted, a post on Instagram today about empaths. Okay. This is how I see it. Remember that I see everything visually. All energy I see visually. So when an empath is open without healthy boundaries, they disseminate and they spread their vibration and they oversaturate themselves. I'm connected to this, and then this, and then this, and then this. They're connected to everything, but really nothing at all. You're oversaturating yourself. That's why you feel tired. That's why you feel laggy. That's why you're unable to connect psychically and hold that connection, because you're not clear cut about it, right? You're not focused on one thing. Kind of like saying, jack of all trades, master of none, right? You're giving so much of your energy away, you're not actually focusing on what you want to focus on. So the best tip that I have for you, all you empaths out there, is cutting cords, okay? Now you can just do this visually. There's cutting cords and tying cords and completing cords and whatever you want to call it. You know, the easiest way for me is just cut the cords, okay? So literally in a conversation, like I've done this with my partner a lot because that's who you really feel it with, but you could be on the phone with a friend, or you could be on the phone or a Zoom or Skype or whatever, FaceTime with, a family member. And they're like, oh yeah, my back is really hurting. Halfway through the conversation, your back starts to hurt. And you're like, is your back hurting in the, middle right-hand side? And they're like, yeah, how did you know? Actually, it's starting to feel better. Oh, that's funny because actually my back is starting to feel worse, right? This has gone on in the past 3 days with me and my partner, Natasha, and her neck has been hurting. Then I massage her neck. Then my neck starts hurting. Then she massages my neck, and then her neck starts hurting. And it's just like literally this cluster of just passing the pain back and forth, okay? So, two things that are really important for an empath. One is cut the cords. You're in a conversation with someone, you feel their negativity starting to sink in. In that moment, visualize a cord connecting you to that person and literally just cut it. The other technique that you can do visually is the bubble, right? Just put yourself into a bubble, make sure that you are nice and, clear, and say, oh, that's them. That's their issues. Those are their emotions. That's not mine, right? Creating those healthy boundaries. Even in the middle of a conversation with someone, you can do this energetically. You need to start practicing this. Once you hone in on all your energy for yourself, you have infinite ability to tap in and connect with anything else. Okay, so that's really important. The second thing that I want to mention about an empath and being an empath is if you're taking on energy from someone else and you're like, ugh, I'm going into a crowd today, I know I'm going to take something on, make sure you come home, and it's not just about clearing your energy with sage or crystals, it's about moving the energy in your body. Ask yourself, where is this energy that I took on from my mom sitting? Ooh, it's sitting in my lower abdomen. Great, move it, visualize it, tap it out, stretch your body, move the energy in your body. It's not enough to just take on the energy. You have to move it through you, okay? If anything, you're just taking it on and it's sitting there, all right? Thank you, Vivian, and all of you who have been super chatting and new members. It's always a blessing to have you here, so thank you. Okay, so let's move into Ginny. Okay. Does your wife astral travel? And if so, do you astral travel together? She's actually been really starting to astral travel recently, and it's kind of like scary for her because she's not fully aware of what's happening, but she's just getting out of her body. So I'll give you a couple of examples of what she's been experiencing in the past couple of weeks with the astral traveling. Just so that you guys know that if you are experiencing these symptoms, most likely you're just starting to astral travel. And all of you are astral traveling all the time. You're most likely out of your body right now as we're talking. But specifically, it's being consciously aware of astral traveling so that you can do whatever you want in the astral realm. So, a couple of examples of this. Feeling like you're falling, especially when you're in your bed at nighttime, in the middle of the night, when you wake up and you have this feeling of falling, that's actually a pretty good indication that you're getting out of your body. Sometimes a whooshing sound, if you're very clairaudient, like my wife is, you'll hear, like the other night, like literally last night, she heard this whoosh, and she's like, what is that? And I'm like, and I tapped into it because I'm like, I don't know what that is. I've never had that before. And because she's clairaudient, it was almost like this pushing, this sound that she could audibly hear of her getting out of her body. What are the other signs? Oh yeah, being very dizzy, very lightheaded. Some of you have noticed this recently. Feeling like this reality is a dream or feeling like this reality is very surreal is a very good indication that you are out of your body, okay? And then once you're aware of you being out of your body, you can purposefully ground yourself back into your body, or you can sit down in meditation and say, If I'm out of my body, where am I right now? And that's how I started astral traveling. I'm like, oh, I feel really dizzy. You know, I sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I'm on another planet. What? You know, it really just takes the time for you to listen, okay? And ask the right questions, of course. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so I don't know how to say your name. I'm gonna just spell it out. Efje. Efefi? That's probably butchered. Okay. Anyway, here's a good question though. Okay, so my question is about freedom of choice. So if everything is scripted, if everything is contracted, but we have the choice in how to respond to the contracts, is our response also contracted, or can we make choices that will change that script? Good question. Yeah, everything can either be contracted and everything can either be free will. Everything, right? So getting into a car accident, most likely big events are all contracted in your life to happen because they have huge impacts on your life afterwards. But, you know, there are things that you can make a choice of free will. All of a sudden, you're a little bit off your path. Something needs to happen to kind of bring you back on your path. And that wasn't originally supposed to happen. So destiny and free will are both interplaying 50-50. There is not one over the other. And so the funniest thing when you're talking about the reaction to the contracts, you're right. Our reaction to things that are supposed to happen can be completely candid and full of free will, or they can be very scripted and very contracted for us to react that way. And that teaches us a lesson, right? And so have any of you ever had a deja vu moment where you're like, oh, deja vu, it's happening, what? And then your reaction to the deja vu is also a part of the deja vu. I had this the other day. It was so wild. I think I was texting someone, and my text response, I literally texted my friend, I'm like, I'm having a deja vu as I text you right now. And then I'm like, I texted that in the deja vu, and I just kept going with it. The reaction was a part of the precognition. It was just so freaking mind-blowing. Anyway, so yeah, free will, destiny, it's a trip, but it's important that we understand that both are in play at all times. Okay, let's talk about ear ringing. We've got a good question here from Edward Kemper. Sometimes I get these tones in my left ear that I feel like is a beam that was sent through my brain and it lands in my left ear with this tone. Okay, so what is this? What's going on? You know, what's happening? Who else here, and of course only the members can chat in the little chat group, live chat, but who else here has been dealing with a weird ear issues? I also want to just mention to other people too, aches and pains in the body have been super intense, especially this past week. We're all really being, especially astrologically, I'm definitely not an astrologer, but I have astrology friends, and they're all telling me that this is the time to purge out past lifetimes. This is the time to purge out old traumas. So a lot of shit is coming up for a lot of people. So aches and pains in the body, weird teeth things. For like a month, I was having tooth pain and I was so nervous because I'm like, all the dentists are closed and it's coronavirus and whatever. And then it went away. Boom, it was just gone. And I'm like, what? I haven't had that tooth pain in a while. Anyway, ear ringing as well, like headaches. Like I've been waking up with weird, headaches and pressure on the head. Anyway, these are all signs of release, okay? The ear ringing specifically, any sort of weird ear things. Like for me, I don't really get the ear ringing much. I usually get popping in my ear. It's the weirdest thing. Like I don't even know where it comes from. Like how does that even happen? I'll be in the middle of a session and all of a sudden, especially my left, it's always the left, ear will just pop, and I'm like, what? And I always know that that's a good confirmation of what I'm saying is just boom, just hitting so hard. Anyway, this is an indication that you are opening up your ear chakras. That means that you are in the middle, which most of you are, especially the ones on this channel, are in the middle of ascending and opening up your ear chakras and moving into the 13 chakra system. Please look this up. I have a video that I put out there maybe 2 months ago, and it's literally called 7 chakra system, 13 chakra system, crystalline energy system. Please go watch it. It's very powerful, and it will literally explain 13, 7, and crystalline energy systems. There are children being born in full crystalline energy these days. There are children being born with full 13 chakra systems. Most of you are or have already recently, especially in the past year, transitioned from 7 chakra systems to 13 chakra systems. In short, what that means is that you have more capabilities to sense and act and react with the world around you. In the 7 chakra system, we're very limited to just our 5 senses and what we're perceiving and how we're interpreting this reality. With the 13 chakra system, all of a sudden, we have our ear chakras. We're hearing things. We're more clairaudient. We've got the ringing in our ears. We're actually aligning ourselves to the tonal frequencies of different dimensions, okay? And then also the hand chakras open up as well. And the hand chakras are all about healing, all about touch, all about perceiving things with our hands, especially right here in the palm. And then we've got 2 extra chakras opening up above the crown chakra. That gives us an extra spiritual sense, very powerful, but all of these come with weird symptoms, like weird hand issues, weird ear issues, and weird head issues surrounding all of those symptoms, okay? You have to go into the 13 chakra system before you get to crystalline. You can't skip over that, okay? You know, it's kind of like a test. Right? Are you ready for crystalline, or are you still going to get stuck with the interpretation? All right, awesome question, Edward. Let's move on. Okay, so Dana, can you talk about how music and sympathetic resonance and cinematics affect and heal us? Is it true that the Octurians tend to be more musical? I don't really know the Octurians too much. I do know that they have music on board the spaceships, which is really interesting. And most of the music that they have on board the spaceships is electronic music, of course, no surprise there. And the reason why is because if you had an instrument, like an acoustic instrument, like a guitar, on board a spaceship, and you have 10 different species that all live on board a spaceship, they all have different fingers, they all have different body parts, they all have different ways to work with that musical instrument, and it would be impossible to have one instrument for all the species. So they typically work with frequencies, sounds, tones. You know, it's really cool. And that's why, like me as a starseed in particular, I'm extremely drawn to EDM, electronic dance music. And it was years ago that I found out that aliens work with electronic dance music. And I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. However, on the other hand, if you're obsessed with acoustic music, interdimensional beings are very envious of the fact that humans have such a wide range of musical instruments. And we're very creative with those musical instruments. So if you're obsessed with music in a very authentic acoustic way, you could most likely are quite alien as well, and you wanted to come down here to experience the musical expression that we have as human beings. They're very envious of that, believe it or not. Super cool. So yeah, all interdimensionals work with music, tones, frequencies. They understand the power of that. I used to work years ago with binaural beats. They have tons of free apps out there with binaural beats. Really cool, just tonal frequencies in your ears. It's really amazing. Frequencies are everything. We are frequency beings. It's really important. And it's funny because, you know, I'm not really into music. Like I've never been able to pick up an instrument and play it. Like I am so unmusically talented, and yet I listen to music probably 90% of the day doing my work. I love it. Especially like really soft kind of EDM. If you guys have heard some of my Spotify playlists, you'll know what kind of beats I'm into. But anyway, yeah. So music is a huge part of my life, even though I can't do it, right? Anyway, so that's just something to think about. But good question. Really good question, Dana. Thank you. Okay, Gabriella, also a really good question. Short, sweet, simple, but really to the point. How do I know if I'm on the right path? Anyone else here, and sorry I'm so dark, it's because it's so bright behind me. Anyone else here have questioned this? How do I know if I'm on the right path, right? Okay, this is a good question, and it's actually got quite a simple answer. If things are easy for you, and I'm going to have to explain this concept. If things are easy for you, if everything's in flow and you're like, whoa, I tried for years to land that job and one just landed in my lap, right? If things are easy and effortless, then you're on the right path. Now, the reason why I have to explain this concept, and it's really important that I do, is because easy doesn't mean good vibes. Okay, I'm going to repeat that. It's really important. Having life and things be easy doesn't mean good vibes, okay? If you, if you were on your way to work and whatever, you were driving in your car and all of a sudden you got into a car accident and the police came and you exchanged information and whatever, and that was all just very effortless and easy, that was meant to happen. If you break up with your partner and it's the easiest transition ever, and you're like, oh my God, I left my condo, my ex got a roommate within 1 week, and here I found a new place within another week, and here I am. Wow, that was easy. It was meant to be. You're in alignment with your contracts. That's what that means. It could be a very shitty and emotional situation, and yet if it's easy and effortless, it's meant to be. If there is resistance in your reality, then there's something deeper that you have to look at, okay? Then you have to look at all angles of this. And typically it means that you are acting or responding to something in a way that you're creating more resistance for yourself, okay? Okay, so hopefully that answers a lot of your questions about, am I on the right path? Check in with yourself. Ask yourself if it's easy and if there's lack of resistance, and you know that you're where you need to be. Okay, so question here from Jay. Oh, wow. We've got a huge super chat here. Wisdom Warrior. Oh, thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Oh, thank you so much for that beautiful super chat. And Sean, incredible. You literally spoil me, and I have so much gratitude every day. All my members too. You guys are so great. This is fantastic. Okay, so Jay, good question here. When we raise our vibration, do we instantly attract negativity to stop or feed off of our energy? Do we instantly attract negativity to stop or feed off of our energy? Is there any way to stop any negative forces from attacking us, or do we always have to deal with it? I want to tell you very candidly, very straight up, you're always going to have to deal with negativity. Always. 5D and all. 5D and all. You're always going to have to deal with it. Think about it. There are 8th dimensional Palladian beings out there in the universe right now that are battling the darkness of the universe. We live in a binary universe, and balance on this planet and balance within the universe means that there's light and dark. In balance, thank you, Orly. Olori, thank you for that. That's awesome. Balance on this planet and balance in the universe means light and dark. Not all light and not all dark, okay? So we're always going to have to deal with it. Once again, remember that being a master means rising above light and dark. Today I'm going to dabble with the emotion of sadness. And that's okay. And I love myself for crying all day. I know a ton of people on Thursday and Friday of this week spent all day in bed. That's okay. And the more that you love and accept yourself for the actions and the choices that you're making, the easier it's going to be to transmute those actions and choices. Okay? There's always going to be negativity. Always, always, always. There's always going to be dark forces. Always. They exist. They have to exist in order to have balance in the universe. They have to exist in order to challenge us, to push us to grow. The more love and appreciation that you give the darkness and the darkness within your own soul and the entities that are outside of your soul, the more they do not affect you. Straight up. I have been attacked, psychically attacked by entities my entire life, all the way back to childhood. And I am so freaking strong because of it. And I have so much gratitude. And the amount of love and gratitude that I have for an entity who comes into my life, the more that they can't get close to me. They're like, oh my God, she loves me too much. I can't face my own, they can't face, entities can't face their own self-love. So when they feel love from me, there's only one of two options. Either they run away fast or they transmute into love, because all they ever need is love from someone else. We need to realize that a dark entity is just a lost soul. What should you do in the situation of encountering a lost soul? You should love them. You should care for them. You should show them, or it, something that it's never experienced before. What do you do to a dog who's been abused in a home? You love it. You care for it. You don't push it away saying, I don't want you, right? That's how you transmute fear and negativity. You don't protect yourself from it as if it was some sort of plague that was going to hit you. You bring it in, you hug it, you authentically appreciate its existence. Like, say for example, and I hate to bring this up as an example, but I will. Okay, Donald Trump, right? That's a soul inside, no matter if he's a shapeshifter or a good guy or a white hat or a black hat or just a puppet who literally has no idea what's going on. Doesn't matter. Don't get caught up in the polarity of who he is and what side he's on. Scrape all of that away, and that president is a soul. And that soul, in the purest way possible, signed up for the contracts to be Donald Trump. Right? That takes balls. I don't care who you are. I don't think I'd be strong enough for that position. Everything that he's gone through, everything that he pushes, whether right or wrong, whether ridiculous, whether dumbfounded or not, whether fake news or not. That's a huge, huge lifetime that he signed up for. And I give respect. I give respect to that soul, So, we have to really just get out of polarity altogether and just look at everyone as a soul and appreciate the fact that they signed up for that contract. Appreciate every dark entity for what they are. They signed up for that contract. That's huge. Good for you for being able to play within polarity. Good for you for being able to choose the dark side and live that existence. I've been there too, and it sucked. And all I needed in my darkest hour was a little love, right? Okay. Good question here from Faith. When you speak to the Galactic Federation, do they talk in English? Do all alien beings speak English? No, of course not. Of course not. All beings in the universe, the majority of them, even human beings, are all telepathic, right? Naturally, our souls all speak the same language, and the same language is telepathy. And I've said this before a few videos back that it's really cool. Like, telepathy is really interesting because it instantly translates someone else's language into something that you can comprehend and understand. So when I have the Galactic Federation or these 8 Palladian beings, a part of this incredible council, when I have them, contact me, it'll be this big booming voice in my mind, and it'll be full English. Because it just instantly translates. It's not even like, oh, I have to speak to Elizabeth in English. They don't even know. They're speaking to me in light language. It's instantly translated. When I speak to them, it's instantly translated into something that they can comprehend in their physical body. When we don't have a physical body, there's no translation needed at all because there's no language at all. It's vibration. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. Okay, good question here from Francisco. Hi, EA. I wanted to know if you have any advice about how to master the polarity emotionally, because I'm being aware of my thoughts, but sometimes my emotions are getting caught up in the 3D state, like sadness, guilt, etc. It's funny because I can see the bigger picture of these emotions with my thoughts, but I'm still feeling them. Okay, great. This is perfect. So how do we overcome emotions and rise above polarity as a whole? Great question. And it's actually quite easy. And this is really, back to back with what I was just saying with the darkness. The easiest way to deal with your emotions, especially low 3D emotions, is surrender to them. First and foremost, don't distract yourself. Don't throw on Netflix. Don't bury them deep, right? Surrender to them. Surrender to your human emotions. And second thing, okay, first, surrender to them. Second, release them. Whether that be going for a jog, like I don't know why, I've been really jogging a lot lately because I've been feeling a lot of emotions. Going for a jog, thinking about things, sweating out the emotion, writing in your journal or notebook is huge for releasing your emotions. Doing conscious tapping exercises, meditation where you're focusing on releasing the emotion, right? So surrender to your emotion, release them appropriately, and then thirdly, give gratitude to all of your crazy 3D up and down roller coaster emotions. Give gratitude to them because they allow you to be human. And if you're not feeling all the feels, then you're not really being human, then you're not really living, the highest vibration of your human existence. Being human is to be on a roller coaster ride, and that's okay. And the more that you accept your emotions for just being that, emotions, without any expectation or attachment to anything else. I have to be perfect. I have to be okay all the time. I have to be the one who is the rock for my whole family. I have to be the provider and protector. All of those limiting beliefs suppress your emotions. They don't allow you to be a human, and that's going to catch up with you one day or another. Right? So really deal with them, surrender to them, release them, and give gratitude to them because they allow you to be here, to be human, to live the fullest human experience you possibly could. Okay? Okay, another good question, right along the same lines of dark and evil and what we're talking about. And then this is from V. Serapis. Holistic Guidance. I'm so sorry. I butcher names all the time. I kind of failed reading and writing as a kid, so you can blame it on that. Okay, so Source/God is pure light and love, where all life and consciousness in the entire universe originates from. So, how come there is dark and evil? Great question. Once again, pretty simple answer. This universe was built on the foundations of binary, of ones and zeros, of light and dark. Imagine this, if you were pure source and you had all knowledge, and say for example as a human being, right? This is kind of easier terms to conceptualize in. If you had all the money, if you had all the friends, if you had all the family members, if you had, all of the job satisfaction and fulfillment, if you had all the kids, if you had everything that you could ever possibly want, ever, it would be great, right? Maybe for the first week, maybe for the first month, hey, maybe for the first 10 years, it would be great to have everything. All knowledge, all money, all connection, all satisfaction and fulfillment. But eventually, it's going to get boring. If there's no challenge, if there's no need or want for anything, if there's no wind in your sails, if there's nothing pushing you forward, then what's the point? What's the purpose? Where do we go from here? We go nowhere because we're already at the end. The whole purpose of incarnating in general in this universe is to grow, is to learn. And the only way we can grow and learn is to be challenged, is to be pushed, is to fall and to get back up again and to understand that we can and we are capable of getting back up again. We are capable of becoming our own source. We are capable of the awareness of our reality. And the only thing that is pushing us to be capable of the awareness of our reality is to understand that in some aspects we are unaware of our reality. What is this whole quarantine situation bullshit doing for us? It's allowing us to scrape away all the distractions we've ever had, to go within ourselves, to deep dive, to figure it out, to be challenged by our old limiting beliefs, to let go of our programming. If this didn't happen, if this crazy, painful, disastrous, low vibrational event didn't happen, we wouldn't have the space to transform, right? That means that we've got to be grateful for the darkness in the universe. We have to be grateful for the low vibration just as much, if not more, than we are grateful for the high vibration and the good times and the great vibes, right? Maybe after this video, on this beautiful Mother's Day, maybe you can take some time today to think about your darkest memories in your life, in this lifetime. And not only think about those darkest memories of that accident or that breakup or that divorce or that, or that time that you lost all your money. When you think about all of those experiences, don't just get stuck in the emotions of them. Look at the aftermath. Where did that experience take you? What journey did it lead you on? How did you grow from that experience? Right? That's what's important. And I think, honestly, with that, there's a lot more questions. And you guys are incredible. But yeah, this was great. I think we really talked about a lot about darkness, a lot about polarity. I started this video talking about my disappointment with the reaction of Friday's video. If you want to deep dive into your own triggers, if you want to deep dive into the projection and the judgment and the polarity of society, even of the polarity within my own subscribers, check out Friday's video. Interview with a cult leader. Yeah, it's going to be pretty shocking, right? But check it out because it's all good vibes. Don't get caught up in verbiage. Don't get caught up in polarity. Feel the vibration first. Because you're just shorting yourself if you stop yourself from an incredible video or information or a moment of getting triggered and then understanding that that was just your own darkest judgments towards yourself that were coming out, okay? I wish you all an incredible rest of your Sunday, if not Monday for some of you out there in the world. I will be back tomorrow for a live at 5:55 video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Become a member if you really resonate with these Q&As and you have questions that you want answered. Definitely become a member. Thank you all for the super chats. Really incredible. And tomorrow I'm talking about DMT. I'm talking about psychedelics. I'm talking about my own experiences. I'm being very vulnerable tomorrow. But once again, just like the reptilian video, it's pretty freaking incredible. Some of the experiences I've had with DMT. And we're going to get into, psychedelics, plant medicine, you name it. It's going to be wild. So hang on to your hats, open your mind, come with an open heart, please. Don't judge. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 5:55 Eastern Standard Time or 2:55 Pacific Standard Time or whatever time zone you are in between. It's going to be a good one. So I'll see you then. Awesome. Thank you all. Special thanks to all my members and all the super chats today. You guys are incredible. Keep up the high vibes. I'm so happy I have a community who is on the right path. This is so exciting. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now.